On this week's Flames Central, Liberty Baseball has postseason aspirations, and Flames Golf heads west for the NCAA championship.
Plus, we bring you the powerful story of Liberty tight ends coach Ben Aigamaua and the top 5 plays from the month of May. This is Flames Central.
The Flames are dancing. That's not exactly what I meant, although I have seen worse moves, Rhett. More on that here in just a minute. But first, we welcome you inside Flames Central. Alongside Rhett McGibbon, I'm Matt Warner.
Yeah, we have some golf and track and field action to get to in just a moment. But for right now, it's all about Liberty Baseball and the postseason.
Yeah, the Flames were trying to make life easy on themselves and secure an automatic bid to the NCAA Regional by winning the ASUN Conference Tournament, and the Bats would help give them that opportunity. We head on down to Fort Myers, Florida, side of the tourney. Liberty would get Eastern Kentucky in the semifinals, and the Colonels ran into an absolute buzzsaw. 18 hits, 18 runs, home runs from Hillier, 2 of them, as well as long balls from Matthew, Orndorff, and Cam Foster had the Flames turning this game into an absolute laugher. A 10-run 6th inning pretty much sealed the deal and would advance the Flames to the ASUN championship game against Kennesaw State. It was the 8th time the Flames and Owls have met this season, and despite Liberty's power surge continuing as they hit 3 home runs in this game, keeping the KSU Bats at bay was another story. The Owls would build a 5-0 lead, and Liberty would never be able to dig themselves out of the early hole. The Flames fall by the final of 10-6, missing out on the ASUN's auto bid to the NCAA Regional. That meant Liberty would have to sweat out the NCAA selection show. And as you'll see from this reaction, the news ended up being good. Thankfully, the Flames made it into the field of 64 as an at-large team. The 2nd straight year Liberty has done so. In the 3rd straight season, they made an NCAA regional, which had never been done before in the program's history. So who will the Flames play? Where will they play? Well, here's the answer to that question. The Flames will head to the Gainesville, Florida Regional. You might remember that Gainesville is where the Flames started the season all the way back in February. Other teams joining Liberty will be the host, Florida, of course, Central Michigan, and Liberty's opening opponent, Oklahoma. This is the 8th time the Flames have reached an NCAA regional. Haven't reached a super regional yet. They're hoping to make a little history in regards to that this weekend.
Yeah, great to see the guys back in regional action for the 3rd year in a row. Now, college baseball experts tend to think that the Gainesville Regional is going to be one of the toughest. However, the Flames aren't worried about their opponents. They're thrilled to be back in the postseason. Emily Austin joins us now. And Emily, there were some pretty anxious moments for LU as they waited for their name to be called.
Yeah, Rhett, it was a pretty nerve-wracking way to get to the postseason for the Flames, but who cares? They live to play another day. After dropping the ASUN championship game, their fate was in the hands of the committee, and some may question how or why the Flames got in. But when you look at their non-conference schedule that head coach Scott Jackson put together, which ranks 13th in the nation, along with a solid season overall, both parts played a major factor in their postseason bid.
You know, we had 7 wins there inside the top 50. I had a chance to take the series from Florida, who played for the SEC title, beat North Carolina in the middle of the week, and they're the ACC champs. I just can't help but think that the non-conference part put us over the hump. Certainly our conference tournament format helped to boost our RPI into a territory where we were with a group of teams that, man, they're good. To see, NC State and Old Dominion and Rutgers not make the field, and we did, I think that speaks to the non-conference body of work and what we did. And certainly you have to be at the top of your league. We were at the top of our division and a good run in the conference tournament. So I think we checked a lot of boxes, and fortunately it was enough for the committee.
Receiving an at-large bid isn't the only thing going for Liberty. The Flames' regional destination is a familiar spot. Not only did they play in Gainesville to start the season, but they had success in the Swamp, taking the series from the regional host, Florida Gators.
I think it helps a lot. I mean, we talked a lot about last year, the familiarity of Knoxville for us. We were going to get play Duke again, who we already played twice. Now we get more familiarity going back to Gainesville. Like, we've been on that field. We've been in that environment. I mean, I think that we've been in that moment. We've had the opportunity to grow up this season. So I really like the way this shook out.
It's kind of ironic we're going back to Gainesville, but after that weekend, I felt like we had a good team, and everybody's got their bumps along the way. And, we've had our share, just like every team. But for these guys to be rewarded, it's so much more about, I think everybody sees on the field. It's the way they carry themselves and the work that goes into it. And so I'm proud to be their coach. I know that much.
This marks the third straight regional for Liberty baseball, which means a lot of players on this current team have postseason experience. But that doesn't make preparation any easier for Coach Jackson and the Flames, but it does help them in terms of knowing what to expect down in Gainesville.
Thank you, Emily. Well, a big part of the Liberty offense during the second half of the season was Logan Matthew. The super senior has been here since the early stages of the Scott Jackson era, and we asked him this week on the Flame Central podcast if he believes Liberty is gaining more respect from Power 5 opponents.
Yeah, for sure. My freshman year, we had a series at UNC, and little old freshman me, I was super scared to play an ACC team, and now we go on the field against the ACC, SEC team, and all of us are expecting to win no matter who's in the other dugout. I think you have to realize that, the pressure is up. It's a postseason and anything can happen. And, one of two things can either happen. You can either cower under the pressure or you can just rise to the occasion. And I think our team is going to rise to the occasion.
Well, to hear the entire interview with Logan, be sure to check out the Flame Central podcast. You can find it on Apple, Google, Spotify, anywhere you download podcasts, we are there. Matt, Emily, and I dive deep into Liberty athletics, plus hear from players and coaches around campus. Be sure to check out the Flame Central podcast today.
Well, baseball not the only Liberty team experiencing the postseason. Liberty Golf advanced out of their regional to reach the NCAA National Championship for the third season in a row. This was a team that lost some great talent from a season ago, but here they were once again, the championship taking place at Grayhawk Golf Club in Scottsdale, Arizona. 30 teams in all. To make it past the first 3 days, you have to be inside the top 15. After day one, Liberty in a great spot, tied for 9th. The Flames would struggle a bit on day 2, putting them in 22nd place, but still a chance to make a run in the final round, and that run would come early on day 3. Liberty would get up to 16th, but a tough finish would see the Flames end up 26th at the end of the tourney. The top LU player over the 3 days was Kieran Vincent. He finishes off an accomplished 6-year career as the school's all-time scoring average leader.
Moving over to LU track and field, they are truly one of the hidden gems on Liberty's campus. This program continues to dominate year in and year out, and 2022 is no exception. The Flames sent multiple athletes to Eugene, Oregon for the national championships. It would start off with Aigamaua Johnson. The Liberty senior would be the first Flame to schedule a trip to Eugene with a long jump of 19 feet, 11.5 inches. Then Kevin Nedrick, the first-year LU discus thrower, would toss a 183-1 on his second attempt. That would be good enough for 11th out of the 12 qualifiers. Next up, phenom Kennedy Sauter, the freshman, would eventually clear 7 feet and 1/2 inch to punch his ticket west. Sauter is one of only 2 freshmen in the nation to qualify. Making history all season long, the 4x1 relay squad would become the first relay group in Liberty and ASUN conference history to qualify. Let's hear what the Flames had to say about making it to nationals.
Yes, finally get the chance to go to nationals at the top level, at the best level of track and field right now. So being able to go to this is honestly a dream come true for me, because me and Coach Pete, we have been praying about something like this even when I first got here, that we'd be able to have a team to go to nationals and put him in the 38 coach club. So it's a blessing, and it's really our prayers unfolding. So it's really cool.
It was actually a huge surprise. I was so surprised that I couldn't even show my surprise, because my coach was looking through while I was on the runway. He was looking at it, and it was the app wasn't refreshing, so he was really concerned. I was like, well, there's nothing we can do about it now. So we were just standing there waiting. After everything was finished and refreshed, and he was like, you made it. And I was like, seriously? It was a huge surprise. It really still hasn't sunk in yet.
It was pretty breathtaking. I did not expect it at first. I was in 12, just sitting there waiting for everybody to complete their chores, and then I looked over up to my coach, and he was like, yes, you made it, but 4 more people left to go, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty awesome, It's always been my dream to make it to nationals.
Definitely honoring, because it was a tight battle on the 6'10" bar, and that kind of made me a little upset and maybe a little worried. But, I think my dad kind of spoke in my head a little before nationals. He's like, hey, sometimes people have good days, sometimes people have bad days. And that's where boys come in. And that kind of just pushed me to get over the bar. And I really want to thank the Lord, because all this couldn't have been done without him. And just to have the ability to do this again is going to be great.
Liberty field hockey great Jill Bolton has her name back in the headlines. Bolton is the 2022 recipient of the Rock Warrior Mac Rivera Award. She's the first Flames field hockey player to win this prestigious Liberty Award. The Rock Warrior Mac Rivera Award was established to honor the top senior student athlete for more than just athletic ability. It recognized the student athlete who has maintained an exemplary testimony on the playing field, in the classroom, and among the student body. Congrats once again to Jill Bolton. All right, still to come on Flame Central, we bring you the moving story of Liberty football's Ben Aigamaua.
And we've collected the top plays from the month of May. That's all when Flame Central returns.
We should go to the beach and just sit there and do LUA. No. My name is Chris Jordan.
My name is Jennifer.
One of the benefits of LUA when we were investigating it versus perhaps a private school or something is the cost and accessibility. You know, is if you have access to the internet, you can get right on and do this at any time.
I think too that, like we were talking about, the teachers being able to contact you and say like, hey, you're behind, or if you do need some extra help with this, and they're very willing to help you do whatever you can to get back on track. Not that it ever happened with our kids, but you know, most definitely happened.
You know, for our family, not only was the pandemic going on and the whole world shifting around, we moved in the middle of that, moved from one state to another state, but we didn't skip a beat when it came to the schooling. And so the flexibility of LUA was an exceptional option for us.
Challenges, they're nothing new. At Liberty, we know they make you stronger, force you to learn, adapt, to overcome. When your next challenge comes, be ready. Meet it with a degree that propels you forward. We've helped champions like you succeed for 35 years and counting. And now, over 100,000 students are getting stronger every day. At Liberty University, challenges make champions. Let's overcome together.
Welcome back to the show. Last week, we told you that Flame Central had been honored with 8 Emmy nominations. In addition to the show itself, our graphics, our sound design, and 5 different video features earned Emmy noms. That's what the kids call them. We want to show you one of those video features right now. Ben Aigamaua is the tight ends coach for Liberty football. He's long been connected to Hugh Freeze, and that relationship has helped him grow as a man, as a father, and in his faith. All areas that he now focuses on with his own players.
Oh yeah, every day you get to wake up is a blessing.
Coach Freeze gives us the challenge of capturing the hearts and minds of our players.
Good, Trev.
There are kids in my room that don't come from a background that have a strong male figure. I want to be the person that steps in between them. I want to be the guy that's going to help you and show you what a father looks like, show you what a husband looks like. I grew up in a small island in the South Pacific. It's called American Samoa. It's a very small U.S. territory. In our culture, God comes first, then family second. So the family part of it is very important.
Faith and family are important, and so is football.
Football was the biggest sport back home. That was your ticket off the island.
A scholarship offer would lead Aigamaua to Lambeth University, where he excelled at defensive tackle for the small school in West Tennessee. While there, a coaching change would do more than just affect his play on the field. It would also help guide him back to his faith.
Coach Freeze came into my life my junior year. The thing that stood out for me was his faith. When I was younger, my mom passed when I was 9. And so growing up, my mom was my rock in the faith walk. Losing my mom at a young age, there was a hole as far as my walk with God, and it just got bigger and bigger the older I got. And when I saw Coach Freeze and I saw him starting to talk about God and the things that he's done in his life, and the consistency that he showed, I kind of made that decision, you know what, God, I'm gonna give you another shot. Okay, you took my mom away from me at a young age. I decided to live my life on my own, and I'm gonna give you another shot at this, and I wanna see what you're gonna do with it. Man, I just saw God just working in me and just trying to slowly change my life. It wasn't an overnight change. There were a lot of habits that I created in that time span that weren't good, so those habits had to change. But I can just see God's hand over me in a lot of ways.
After his playing days came to an end, Aigamaua would pursue the coaching profession and eventually follow his mentor to Ole Miss. Ben would marry his college sweetheart, Kendra, and they looked forward to starting a family. But once again, his faith would be tested.
I think it was 2016 where we were expecting Lily, our daughter, our firstborn. As a father, you know, you always have this perfect picture of what it looks like and what it is to have a daughter. They always say, you know, girls will change a dad's heart in a hurry. And, you know, the excitement, the happiness, the joy me and Kendra felt, man, it was awesome. And then the next day, the nurse came in. You know, we thought it was just, hey, you know, Lily's doing great. Everything checks out. So she walks in. She sits down with Kendra and I, and she said Lily has Down syndrome. You know, so at that time, the joy just goes into just the questions. You know, the questions that I had as a 9-year-old kid of, God, why'd you just take my mom away? Now we're back in the spot of, it's my baby girl. You know, why me? And, you know, I'm not proud of that moment when I look back at it, just because I told God, you know, I'm gonna trust you through everything. And then we got more news of her heart. They said kids with Down syndrome have holes in their heart, and Lily has a hole in her heart. And we're probably gonna need to have surgery, open heart surgery and all this thing. And so there it is again. I'm saying, God, okay, what is it? What is it you want from me? I had to make a decision, and I said, God, you know what? I'm gonna trust you with my baby girl.
It was in these moments that the Lord would show Ben that he is faithful.
2 weeks later, we got in the car. We were ready to go see the cardiologist and just have a plan for her surgery, her open heart surgery. He came back out to see us in the lobby. He just looked at us with just confusion, with loss of words, and he just say, "Hey guys, we don't need to do any type of surgery or anything." And I was just, hold on, what's going on? Is everything okay? And he said, the hole in her heart closed. And so that was, you know, God's kind of wink to me, like, I told you I got you. You just need to trust me. So ever since that day, Kendra and my faith just kind of skyrocketed from there.
I always told Ben, like, she's the one that really saved my life, because I was just kind of going through the motions of, you know, religion and Christianity and all of that. And then when we had her, I really, I mean, it just kind of broke me. And so we just kind of had to build again and trust in the Lord. How much do I owe you?
Thank you, sir.
The Aigamawas are now a family of 4. Lily is a thriving big sister and a testament to God's provision.
Every time I see her, I just see God working in her, and that's just my reminder, like, hey, if you have any doubts today, it's got to go out of your mind because she's a living miracle for you.
Get your shoulders vertical. Come back, come back, come back. Oh! Hey. Go here, boom, open.
Ben's life experiences have taught him that family extends well beyond the walls of his home. Now coaching tight ends for Hugh Freeze and the Liberty Flames, he recognizes the incredible role he gets to play in the lives of his players.
For me, success is yes, it's great to win football games. It's great to do X's and O's. But the real success, I tell my guys, is 20 years from now, what does your life look like? I want to be able to see you being an awesome father, being an awesome husband.
Thanks to Jonah Jabor for producing that piece. Well, Coach Aigamaua and the rest of the Flames are facing the best home schedule in Liberty history, and you can be a part of the excitement. Get your 2022 season tickets today. Visit lufootball.com. All right, time now for Warm, Hot, and Fuego, top player moment from the past week in Liberty Athletics. Rhett, people are probably saying, it's the end of the year. How are you still finding athletes? He's a professional. That's all I can say. This guy is a pro. Do we have a theme today,
I'm
Rhett?
getting out there, getting my hands dirty.
That's right.
It's this time of year where the playoffs are going on, right? You see NHL, NBA, you see Liberty baseball in the playoffs, the track and field going to nationals. So I'm thinking about these playoff performers. It may not be a clutch moment, but those who at the end of the season can bring their game up to another level and hit a higher standard.
I like it. All right, so let's start with Warm. Who's your pick?
Ayanna Johnson, long jumper. This is a senior. She's had a rough go. She's had injuries during her time here. Great moment for her and her coach, just kind of, that senior day kind of feel. And since that point, that was the day she really started to go off. I think it's one of those moments where you're like, wow, I'm hitting the end. Like, this is getting to be the last couple months, weeks of my senior career. I need to make something happen. And she did. She broke a 38-year-old record, which is crazy to think about. Now she is the first Lady Flame to go to nationals in the long jump. Can you think about that? Ever.
Wow.
And that's crazy. Like, Liberty, the success that they've had, and she's the first one to go as a Lady Flame in the long jump. Good for her. Best of luck in Eugene.
Have fun in Eugene. All right, from Warm, we go to Hot. Who's your pick?
All right,
here?
these are a couple guys on the golf team that are just, I would say, staples, building blocks, and it seems like at the right times they can bring their game up, and that's Kieran Vincent and Jonathan Young.
Definitely.
These two guys named to the Ping East Region team. Vincent, during his time here, or this year that is, a 71.36 stroke average, led the Flames at nationals, leaves as the all-time leader in stroke average, has great hair. This is a guy that, you always have to mention that, I think, when you're talking about Kieran. Jonathan's one of those guys, too, a little bit different style than Kieran. He's not as flashy, I would say, but he's your staple. He's a guy that you know in your lineup is going to bring you results. He loves Liberty golf. You talk to him, he wants to talk about golf all the time. There's nothing else in life to him but golf. Good for him. And it's hard to believe these guys have been here for 3 years. Like, you think about it, pre-COVID, these were staples of the program, and they still are to this day. Best of luck to Kieran as he moves on as well from Liberty University.
All right, finally, in Fuego, Rhett, your in Fuego person this week is who?
It's Sri Hillier, the sophomore. You needed him to come up big in that game against Eastern Kentucky, and he did just that. In a little bit of a slump leading into that game, but then he comes away with 2 bombs. Starts off with a solo shot. You needed that. You were down 3-0.
That's right.
Things were like, offensively, have the bats just gone quiet? Not the case. Then a 3-run bomb. Basically, the exact same spot in the ballpark. That was enough for him, though, on this day. No more home runs, but his hustle plays. He was getting on base. He had 4 runs scored. Logan Matthew had a grand slam. He was on base for that. And sometimes you just need an unlikely character in the playoffs to give you a little bit of a spark. Sri Hillier did that for the Flames on that day.
Yeah, he did. He's been really good in the middle of that lineup for Liberty, and hopefully the offense can continue to swing it well here in the regional. All right, still to come, the month of May gave us some great highlights. We'll give you our top 5. That's when Flame Central returns.
I hail from the dark side, looking for a free ride. Everybody wanna get some. I fight through the fight scum. Everybody go boom! Everybody go
Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Flame Central. Hard to believe it's already June, but before we get into full-fledged summer mode, we have to bring you the top plays from the month of May.
Yeah, and as you'd expect, the Diamond is the focus for this month's plays, and they did not disappoint, Red.
No, they did not. Play number 5, May 21st, Lady Flames in regional action playing Duke, where Rachel Roop showing some love with the glove, snatching that ball away from its home run destiny. It's not the only time this year we've seen the freshman make a great defensive play in the Flame Central top 5. Again, beautiful grab by Rachel Roop.
Little robbery. All right, play number 4, May 1st. This play barely made it, not because it wasn't great or because it was so early in the month. How about Joe Adamant behind the back?
I love it.
And then a little swing underhand over to first base.
I'll
give you another look at this one. He would pitch 8 strong innings in this ball game. This had to be the highlight. Good way to set the tone in the first inning. Behind the back snag. That's play number 4.
All right, play number 3, same game for the Lady Flames versus Duke. You know, 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
I've heard that.
Well, this is the old 1, 2, 3 double play. Great effort from Carly Keeney in the circle, and the gun from Caroline Hudson would see Liberty turn 2 against the Blue Devils. That's a great play. Double play in softball, not that common.
Yeah, they needed the defensive effort there with the bases loaded. How about some defense here? Play number 2, May 19th against Kennesaw State. Foul ball going to fall harmlessly to the what?
The flash.
What? Stephen Hill, full sprint, goes right into the wall. Look at the kid behind him. It's like, that's my dude. My ribs hurt just watching that play.
Yes.
Great play from the senior shortstop.
All right, play number 1, May 20th, first game of Durham Regional for LU, and what a performance by senior pitcher Emily Kirby. She would go on to shut out the power-hitting Georgia Bulldogs, only allowing 3 hits in the contest and striking out 13. Tremendous effort in one of her last games as a Flame, and sad to see her go, but one of the best games she's ever done there in that one. She was slinging it.
And actually, some Emily Kirby news this week. She actually signed a pro contract, play a little pro softball as well, so hopefully her career will continue for a while. All right, well, our show's not going to continue for a while. We're about out of time. As always, check out our Flame Central podcast. Great show this past week with Logan Matthews.
Yeah, and as well, check out our website, libertyflamecentral.com. We talked about those Emmy pieces that we have. You can find them all there.
He's Rhett. I'm Matt. Thank you so much for watching. We'll plan on seeing you right back here next time at Flame Central.